Okay, England. England, this is my travel story for England. England, was the first country that I traveled to. I really didn't do any traveling in college. I wasn't one of those guys who did the exchange. The only traveling I've done, I've been in Mexico for a little bit when I was in college for like a day, and I went there for 10 days when I was 10 with my dad and my brother, and that's it. I stepped across the border into Canada once for like 5 seconds. That was it. So England, that was exciting to be in another country. I flew to England 3 days after Princess Diana died. And I got there on a one-way ticket. The lady's like, "What you doing here on a one-way ticket?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just going to bike tour." She's like, "You're not going to work here, are you?" And I'm like, "No." It's like, "You promise?" And I'm like, "Well, what? No." And so she lets me through, and I think it was like nighttime. It was like 6 or 7 at night. The sun had gone down when I stepped out of Heathrow on my bicycle, and all I had was a mountain bike with shocks. Not a good idea to bike tour with shocks, but anyways, had shocks. And I had a rear rack that connects to the seat post. So just a simple rack, and then I had like a camelback backpack, like bungee corded to the top of that, and on top of that I had a sleeping bag. So that kind of tightly on the back, and then on the front I had like a box kind of bag like this. You just snap on, and then I could take it off, and then sling it over my shoulder. I actually bought the sling strap there in England because I didn't have it yet. So when I got off my bike and locked it up, I could put on my camelback, and I could sling my sleeping bag over my shoulder, and then I could sling my little front box bag over my other shoulder, and I could walk around. And so I was totally portable. It's cool. Bike touring really light is really cool because you have freedom to do whatever you want. So anyway, I roll into England or Heathrow, and I go like 100 meters outside of the gate. Right outside the gate, 100 meters from where I stepped outside the Heathrow, which is like right in the middle of London. I felt like it was right in the city, but it was at night. So I look over towards the north, and I see this kind of patch of woods between the road, where there's this gas station here on the left, and then like apartment buildings. So I go in there, and then there's this ditch, kind of like a drainage ditch, so I sleep in the bottom of it. So that was pretty cool because I'm right in the center of town, and I'm like invisible. It's like having those Harry Potter blanket on. Nobody could see me if they look over because I'm in the ditch. And I didn't have a tent with me or anything, just my sleeping bag with a baby sack. And so I sleep there. And I think that night I went into the gas station and bought like some food, and I heard these like kids talking Cockney, and I was like really trippy. Culture shock for me to hear kids speaking Cockney. Like I majored in English, and I'd only heard people speak Cockney in like some like movies and stuff. Like being an American, you're used to English people speaking King's English. So the next day I get up at like sunrise. It's great camping out because you get up and the sun comes up because you overheat if you stay in the sleeping bag. So it's cool because I'm usually asleep in, so it's great that I got up right at sunrise, and then I ride north. And I was right in town, and it's pretty crazy riding on the left side of the road. And I ride through London. I go through like some kind of pedestrian mall area, and I see some guy dressed up like in one of these old English outfit, like some like street performer guy. I was kind of culture shock. And I go through, I go like across the, old bin, like the, what's it called, London Bridge, and then through the downtown center, and there's all these like narrow roads, which is trippy because we don't have those in America. They're all curving and stuff because I'm used to grid streets. And I got lost, and there's all these roundabouts too. That was cool. We don't have those. And I got lost. Because I remember I saw a roundabout, and then I rode past that same roundabout. I was like, oh my God. So then I rode north. I just rode through London. And then I got out of London, and I thought I was out of London, and then there's another town, and then I think I'm like, oh, okay, that must be like one of the outskirts of London. And then I hit another town, and then I realized, oh shit, this country is like one big town. I'm never gonna get out of London. I'm always gonna be a town to town. I'm gonna have to find a place to camp out, like in a town, basically. So I went like right outside of some town, next to the road, down the hill a little bit, and camped out. And I had my radio, and I listened to a lot of radio, and all the radio was about Princess Diana. Everybody's in all the newspapers. Everybody's talking about it. Like everybody's like boycotting the game, like soccer games. I was only in England a whole week, not 1 week, but the whole time I'm just hearing all this like about Princess Diana. And I go into a mall, and I got some kind of food, and then I picked up a packet of ketchup, and she's like, charge me for it. And I was like, what? You charge extra for ketchup? And that was pretty wild because you don't do that in America. Anyway, I ride north, and it was cool to ride north. I went through like Shakespeare's town, and I would stop at like bars and have like a beer or two. It was kind of like exciting for me to get a little bit of a buzz in another country. But people weren't really interested in like talking to me. I kind of felt like everybody was sad, and so maybe everybody generally was sad because Princess Diana died. I remember when the Queen had her speech, but they're like, she was going to have her speech, and then I forgot to like tune into it, so I missed it. And then I heard them like critiquing the speech after, and I rode through some town. It was like Northampton. I'm just riding down the road, and I see all these people dressed in these like cops dressed in black, and all these other people dressed in black. And I asked this cop, "What's going on? What's all these people lying in the street for, dressed in black?" She's like, "Lady Diana, Princess of Wales, died. Going to drive through here." I'm like, "Oh really? Oh cool. Wait, no, in a couple hours." So I go like next to M6 on this road, and I just wait there for like 2 hours, and all these people park in some like field. And then I see on M6 just everybody's totally lined on the whole interstate or the whole highway. And then sure enough, the hearse drives by, and I throw a flower onto the top of the hearse and take a photo of it. And then I get on my bike and I'd go north, and it was cool going north because it would just get more and more sparsely populated and hillier and less trees. And then I crossed into Scotland for like 3 hours. I'm riding through Scotland, and like the Scottish, they'd look at you and they go. So I guess in Scotland doing this means like hi or something like that. That was pretty. And then I went down and I toured Hadrian's Wall, and it looked like it was built yesterday. They built it really well, and you could see it for as far as I could see. It's right now it's only like 4 feet high, but I went to like one of the bastions they had there. And then I went south, and I went up like the steepest road I'd ever been on in my life, and then down some big hill. It was like the only one. Oh, but before that, I went on some really beautiful hills, like really green. All these like walls made out of bricks, and like all the cabins and houses, even roofs, are made out of like not bricks but like stones. So it's like hundreds of years of stonework collecting stones off of or thousands of years off of the fields. So the fields are totally beautiful and green, and like all these stone work everywhere. It was really beautiful, and hills. And anyway, I go into Hull. In the 1 week I was there, this one people at a bar offered to let me stay at their place in a bed they had, and then this other lady offered to let me stay in her like garage. But then I went into Hull because I took the boat from Hull into Netherlands, and I was excited about being in Hull because my great grandmother was from Hull, and I got some fish and chips. That was the first time I got fish and chips. That's like I guess an English food there. It was cool eating the English food there because I liked it. I guess people like to talk trash about it, but I like how they have like fried tomatoes and then like bacon and eggs and all that. It's just, I mean, it's really rich food and it'll make you fat if you don't exercise, but if you're riding your bike all day long, it's perfect diet. And but I did notice it was more expensive though. It was like $8 for a plate than in America. But so then I got on the boat and I went into Netherlands, and I don't even recall them even looking at my passport. I just jump on like a ferry and tie my bike up, and I lay on like a couch, and then I saw Mr. Bean on the ferry going over into Holland, and I was excited, and I was like, yay, another country. They're not going to speak my language, but So that's England.